everyone, it's Carie again in my fourth and final Wahls protocol video for this time. I'm not saying that I won't come back in a month or 2 months or 6 months or something like that and give you an update, but for me right now, doing these weekly is discouraging me, and I'm not going to keep doing that. I feel like I have taken 5 steps forward but 20 steps backwards is how I feel. And that may not be how everyone looking at me feels, but for me, in my body, that's how I feel. Like I'm going backwards, and I don't want to go backwards. I don't blame the protocol for that, though. I just, for whatever reason, what I'm doing isn't helping me in that way. Now, there have been many benefits to my having done this. I feel better health-wise, and I feel better in the sense that I have sort of disciplined myself in eating and making sure that I get the 9 cups in and those types of things. And so I do feel better in those ways. As far as feeling better overall, though, it doesn't for me. My legs don't feel stronger at this point. They actually feel weaker. Again, though, that may not be true, because I think what happened for me is probably, I don't know the point that I began at, you know, how far gone things were, and then I regained some of that, and so that was like jumping way high for me. And so then anything less than that feels like going backwards, even though, again, that may not be true. But at this point, it's too discouraging for me to do this on a weekly basis, because I find myself not looking forward to doing the video again, because I really wanted this to be a documentation of the progress, not lack of progress. And I feel like it's dishonest, though, to say that if I got on here every week and told you I had a great week and things were good and all of that, and just didn't show you anything, you know, you could believe that or not, and you'd still be the same skeptical person that you were when you started, just like I was. And that was the whole point of doing a video, was so that those of us who are skeptics could see something happening. And I feel like the only honest thing to say is exactly what's going on, not to sugarcoat it or worsen it in any way, but to be truthful with what it is. I want to take a minute here, though, and thank all of you who have followed me faithfully every week. Those of you who have asked me every week how I'm doing, how it's going, or you've made comments about seeing the video, or you were saddened to hear that I had a bad week and hoped that I had a better one, or any of that. I appreciate all of that. Thank you very much. And for those of you who didn't ask anything, I don't think that you cared any less because you didn't ask. I think sometimes it's the big white elephant we dance around in the room a lot of times when we know something's going on. And so there's no real right or wrong answer or thing to do for that. I also wanted to say a few things that I remembered that I should have said in other videos, and then I just didn't get to because they ended up being too long or whatever would happen. And so a few of those things I want to say. I want to tell you some of the things that I learned that first week. Don't ever do. Don't ever freeze almond milk. Now, some of you may know how to do it in a right way and don't have this problem, but I did that, and it was like the almond separated from the milk, and so I wasn't sure that I was actually getting what I was supposed to be getting by the time I used that milk, because it wasn't in the same form that it is when you refrigerate it. Number 2, don't ever mix all 3 cups of the different types of fruits or vegetables that you're supposed to have in the blender and try to drink that. It's like drinking salsa, and that's like putting it nicely, because it really looked like something else and was hard to drink because of that. But I drank it because, again, it was very expensive to use ingredients somewhere and not use them up. I also learned don't freeze Brussels sprouts. They don't freeze well and thaw out well. Again, some of you may know how to do all this stuff and not have any problem with it, but I didn't find that out, and I didn't know how to, and so I didn't. So those are just some helpful hints for any of you who are deciding to do any of those things. I will tell you that I have been able to keep one of the things that makes this very valuable in having done it, and as I told everybody, I'm not quitting it, I'm not giving it up. I don't know that I will continue doing it in the extremes that I have been, but I probably will not go back to eating gluten, I probably will not go back to eating dairy, and I will probably ensure that I continue to eat my 9 cups of fruits and vegetables every day, because I think that they're huge. I have not had a bobblehead for 3 weeks now. I can do pretty much anything that we are trying to do and not get out of that situation or that position and have a bobblehead. And that was one thing that really bothered me. And that's gone. I haven't had that back. There are some other things that I thought I had lost that are now back again, and those are my cold feet. For about a week, my feet felt almost hot. They almost seemed to go to the other extreme, and they were really warm, but it was nice because I was able to sleep with them out of a heating blanket for once, and I was able to, one day I even was able to wear capris, and you know, those are memorable things to me, but that didn't last. The last 2 weeks I've really struggled to even heat my feet anymore. Even the things that were working before are not working now. And so to have them under the heat blanket even feels like they're not even being warmed at times. And so I fight to go to sleep to try to get them to warm up, because if I can fall asleep, it seems like they warm up while I'm asleep, and then when I wake up, they're not cold anymore. But one of the things that I wanted to say in this final video too is that I feel like for those of us who are diagnosed with or living with or have any type of a disease, whether it is just a progressive disease or a terminal disease or anything like that, every one of us, there's not a person I don't think you could say who has one of those that somebody wouldn't say that they have found a cure for this and you would rush to go do this cure, as long as you knew that, you know, it was healthy or that the benefits outweighed the negatives or whatever. And so I'm always looking for something that will work. And when I read that, it does make sense. I mean, eating right is important for all of us, whether we have MS or cancer or diabetes or nothing. Just eating healthy is good for all of us. But to put all of our everything into that and make that the thing is not right for anything. And I feel like I have spent the last 4 weeks thinking that this protocol was going to turn my whole situation around. And yes, it's exciting to me that Dr. Wahls was in a wheelchair and now she's out of it, and that you know, she's teaching people how to eat and eat right and do different, you know, exercise and all of those things. I think those are huge things and are beneficial for all of us. But I think for any one of us to put our faith and confidence into a thing like that, barring God's miraculous healing that can be instantaneous, and I believe in that. I believe that God could heal me like that. But I don't also think that he has to be God. For me, it's not that cut and dry. If God performs and does what I want him to do when I want him to do, is he really God? And for people who struggle with God being anything, let alone God, that's a question that I wish you would ask yourself, is if he were a magician who just acted and responded according to what I want him to do, or you want him to do, or anybody else, would he really be God then? And, you know, I have struggled with wondering why at times I would be lying to say that I didn't, and yet at the same time, why not me? Why am I any different than anybody else, and why would it be okay for somebody in any situation to end up where I'm at today and not be me? That's not right either. And so I am going to continue to pray, and I'm going to continue to do the protocol, like I said, in the ways that I'm going to do it. But I'm also going to try to get my focus right on the right things and doing the right things. I'm not sure what direction this will take me in. I feel like some doors have been opened to me at this point. So this video, as far as the Wahls protocol is concerned, will be my last until I do an update, or if I do an update. I'm not even going to guarantee that. But it may not be the last video you see of me. I'm just going to say that because I'm not sure what doors I'm going through with this. All of that being said, I am going to show you my walking today. I'm going to show you me stepping over something, even if I fall. Because I think it's important. When I started this, the whole premise of doing this video, or these videos, was to document my progress or lack thereof. And I think it's important that you see from the very beginning until the very end exactly where I'm at. And it is what it is. And then you can just do with it what you need to do, and I'll do with it what I need to do. And again, I just want to say thank you for following me, and for just being interested in what concerns me. And I would appreciate your continued prayers as for this program and what I'm doing, for what I'm going to need to do when I see the doctor again in October, and also for the direction that I'm going to go in with these videos. So that being said, I'm going to show you my walking real quick, and then I'm going to show you me stepping over something. Because those were the two things that I showed you during these videos. That's me walking, and it still is better than, you know, that it kind of comes and goes at different times. And then this is me stepping over something. Now, this is much more of a thinking process than it was that first week. At least in my mind it is. Now, what may not be true is that it may not have been as big of a thinking thing then as it seems to be now. It may have been the same, but because it was new and different and I was able to do it, maybe it felt different. I'm not really sure. But I just wanted to be honest with you all in what's going on and where I'm at. And again, thank you. Have a great month, year, whatever it is.